Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, also published on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support and any kind of updates and such. Usually, I go about on Twitter X. Um, Friday, I did manage to upload the last episode of Midnight Suns. It's a little bit longer than usual, mainly because of the final mission. It's quite long, and I did have to restart because I died in the meantime. Miscalculated some moves there. Other than that, I will publish a new series, which is the Callisto Protocol. I already managed to record all the episodes for that game. It's not a very long game, even though it has some interesting tidbits there that I enjoy there. And I give my final thoughts on the last episode of this series. So hopefully you are going to check them out. Just a quick reminder that I already have 4K completed gameplay series, the most recent ones after I did restart uploading stuff on my channel after the interruption, and 1080p is are the games that I was doing before I got basically moved out of the country, so no PC to do anything there. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I still need to go about doing the channel update when I can. But yeah, let's go to the news. We've been seeing a lot of uh, RDNA4 um, performance charts here and there, and the latest one is from Cheap Health Forums. It seems to be that it was from one of the reviewers of this site here. Uh, Again, take it with a grain of salt. This is all rumors. There is not even official announcements from AMD regarding the launch or even the performance numbers regarding the RDNA 4. But if we take these numbers as face value, they are a little bit better from the values that we were getting on some of the benchmarks that we've been seeing before CES, given that there was a couple of interviews that AMD representative from responsible for the gaming stuff there. Again, I forgot his name and his position. But he said that the benchmarks that were leaking before CES, they were underrepresentative of the performance of the, I will assume, 9070 XT. uh, this one seems to be more in line, at least in terms of ray tracing, are more in line with the 4070 Ti Super in terms of ray tracing, and in terms of raster, they perform a little bit better than the 4070 Ti Super, and they are around about 10% below the 4080 Super. The 40, I think the 4080 Super can be equivalent to, I don't know, the 7900 XTX to a certain degree, at least in terms of average, they are very close to each other. But yeah, if you take these numbers at face value, and given that we've been seeing some MSRP already launched for the NVIDIA GeForce stuff there, and taking account in terms of approximate numbers from first party information from NVIDIA regarding the performance of their 70 class cards, I think if these benchmarks are a guide for us in terms of values of FPS and all that jazz, I think if FSR4 is that good in terms of improvements from the previous version of FSR 3.1, which is more in line with DLSS. At least it seems to be closing the gap there. I think if they put it at least below $500, given that the 5070 is 550, if they, I don't know, maybe the 9070 XT can be on the margins of the $500, I think they might have something in their hands in terms of trying to capture a little bit more market share. But then again, we have to have third party independent reviews of all of this lineup of GPUs, so we have a better notion if it is a good value or not. Given that, again, taking into account the Blackwell, the NVIDIA 50 series. A lot of shenanigans are happening there with announced performance there. Again, they're not comparing basically apples to apples, and we all are only seeing uh, at minimum ray tracing uplifts in terms of performance. We are not seeing any kind of rasterized performance there. So yeah, we needed to take all this information with a huge grain of salt. No, let's say definite decisions should be made until we have those independent reviews. And again, don't jump the shark on trying to sell your current GPU, expecting that you're going to have a huge uplift in performance with this new generation. Again, hold on. It's like 15 days or so until we get at least some numbers from independent reviews from the 50 series, at least from the 5080 and the 5090. Then we can try to, I don't know, extrapolate the numbers for the 70 class series because they are going to be launched in February. But yeah, and again, we need at least some official numbers from AMD so you have a better notion what they are trying to aim for in terms of performance and price, so you can have so you can judge better the price to performance regarding all of this. But yeah, it seems that if this is true, we might be seeing some competition in 70 class cards there for this generation, hopefully. But yeah, I will not hold my breath for this one. Then we got also some prices for the 5080 cards. They are listed in European Union, and this is from Finland, I think. Yeah, Finland. Again, I'm not sure the VAT for these GPUs here, but taking into account that I will assume the red numbering is the one with VAT included, and without VAT, the grayer numbers. The only one that is at this moment in time, and this is only from Gigabyte, and again, I will assume this is final pricing at this moment. The only one that it's on par with MSRP is this one, the Gigabyte, the WindForce 3OC. If you consider the 980 euros, sorry, which equivalents around $1,000. It's the only card that is at this MSRP, and we got from this MSRP point until we got 1,700 basically euros for the rest of the lineup. Again, this is one of the issues that we have between the 80 and the 90 class cards in terms of price disparity. Because MSRP is $1,000 for the 5080, and for the 5090 it will start off from $2,000 up. So we got a spread of around $1,000 where AIBs can put the cards around there with again with their old shenanigans, which is like the water cooling GPUs and the such. They can spread out more the prices between this price bracket, while for example, from the 5070 Ti until the 5080, they can only play around with around $250 or so, but they will overlap a little bit over the $1,000 for sure. Because again, we will not see a lot of 5080s at the MSRP point from AIBs, because I will assume they will run out of stock very fast, and then they will try to down sale you the 5070 Ti at the same price point. I think there's going to see, especially in some markets, we're going to see a lot of this. But yeah, it will not bode well. I will assume ASUS, MSI, Palette, 3D, all of those AIBs will try to compete each other in this $1,000 spread between the 5080 and the 5090 MSRP. Yeah, hopefully there is enough stock for the lower ends. I think ASUS or MSI will have at least a couple of models very close to MSRP. But yeah, again, as I mentioned from the previous article, we need to wait for third-party performance numbers so we can compare with at least the previous generation. Because in some extreme cases, for sure, I think, for example, a 4080 Super could be a better option than a 5080. Um, Mainly because of the price to performance differences there. I don't know, but again, a lot of it still until until the end of the month is going to be a lot of information that will be preliminary. At least until we got the, for example, for gamers Nexus or Underwear Unbox and other independent reviewers, it's going to be a tricky situation until the launch of the official reviews there. In other things regarding NVIDIA to a certain extent is the 12-volt power pin. Again, it's good to see that CableMod and other companies might be working on this cables here. But I think there is a misconception. I don't know if it is like a marketing ploy here. Again, CableMod is going to launch the 12 volt, so the updated version from the 16 pin 12 volt power cables with the 16 gauge, American wire gauge or gauge. Um, Give me a second. Sorry, I had to cough a little bit there. Um, yeah, I don't think this will solve any kind of issues. Again, I think that the problem with this wire connection thing with the 12 volt power pins is the connector itself. It's not the wiring per se. The fact that the wiring can have more tolerance is good in overall sense of things, but the problem that we've been seeing from burn GPUs to burn connectors is the connector itself. Again, as I mentioned, I'm not a electric engineer, but from what I understand of electricity electronics, again, I think the physical connector itself is too small for what it's trying to do. Um, Again, I think there is still a lot of resistance, electrical resistance on the connector itself, because again, the amount of voltage and amperage that has to go through that smaller connector, especially compared to the 8 PCI and 6 PCI Express connectors there. Again, I'm hammering this until the end. Um, Again, as they mentioned, again, the only updates they are going to do it's to the cable, and they only make references to the cable's upgrades, nothing regarding the connector, in the sense that of the cables they are going to launch. Again, even though I think it's good for the cables themselves have better tolerances, but then the constraint points of the overall delivery system is going to continue to be the connectors, mainly on the GPU side of things, and but also to a certain extent on the PSU side of things. But yeah, other than that, again, it's nice to see there are going to be a lot of customization around these cables. But I think the weak point of the delivery system on this 12 volt power pin is still this connector, especially on the GPU side of things. I think there should be. I don't know how they, if they are ever going to manage to solve this situation entirely, to the point that is trusted as a normal 8 power PCI delivery system, as we've been seeing on AMD is still using. I think there are going to be a couple of designs from AIBs on the RDNA 4 that are going to use this 12 volt power pin. But yeah, again, I will hammer this home. The weak point of this whole thing is the connector itself. Hopefully, we will not get any kind of burned CPUs, GPU. Sorry, but yeah, again, I still don't have full trust on this thing here. But yeah, regarding hardware, basically this is it. Very slow day for a Monday. In terms of games, don't forget, I think it's still on Elden Ring Nightreign closed network test registration. Again, only for consoles. I think this is still open, and they already released the schedule for the sessions that are going to take place. It will start 14th February, and it will be around 2 days. They will have certain sessions here and there. It's not going to be open, like an open beta. They will have. I think again, this is to try and test and stress the system in terms of the co-op mechanics of the game itself. So that's why I think they have very narrow timings, so they can check how well the servers are going to proceed with that. We will have 5 sessions overall. I will assume that we'll be seeing some footage in the meantime, probably some live streams from bigger content creators. But yeah, it's only for consoles, no PC network test there. Again, I'm not sure if the server configuration or whatever it needs to be done on the engineering side of things is a little bit different. But yeah, this is it. Hopefully, everybody that, and I think, sorry, that it's kind of first come, first serve in terms of the registration. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this will go. Hopefully, everything goes well, and we don't have any kind of weird things happening, and hopefully an open beta test, kind of like Monster Hunter Wild, so people will have like a couple of days to try and experiment a little bit with the game itself, at least with some, I don't know how this can be managed, but it will be something good to see, so people can be a little bit more excited and remove some doubts of how this game will play. Then we got also got an Atomfall gameplay overview trailer. It's around 7 minutes or so. It tries to go around and cover everything on the game. Very high level stuff, so nothing in detail, but they go about a little bit trying to explore a little bit the mechanics, the survival aspect of the game, the story, how you can approach the story in the game. I think they're trying, at least they are announcing that they're not going to handhold you too much. So it's kind of inspired from Fallout games, but I don't think they're going to have like the quest things there. I think you need to track by yourself a lot of the stuff there. Even though I think on the UI it seems that you need to track stuff, but there's not going to be a lot of markers for you to follow through. I think they're trying to highlight more the exploration, because it seems to have a lot of bunkers inside that you need to check and explore. I don't think they're going to be that hand holding in terms of putting markers all over the place. I think you need to work a little bit there and try to explore all the mysteries on this game, which it seems pretty interesting. And even on the combat side of things, seems also pretty in line from the inspiration that they take from Fallout games to other survival games. In terms of systems, I think there is kind of a repetition system of some sorts. But yeah, I will have to assume everybody is your enemy, otherwise, till proven otherwise. But yeah, very interesting stuff there. I really do recommend you check it out. So yeah, I think might be a pretty good game for this year, and the trailer itself, it seems pretty good. And then lastly, we got here. Ubisoft continues to, I don't know, fumble everything. There has been this delay. I covered this. They delayed around a month or so to March 20th. At the time, I was not aware, and I will assume Ubisoft was also not aware that March 20th signals the Tokyo subway. I think it's gas sarin or something like that that happened. And this year, of all years, it marks the 30th um, uh, anniversary. I think it's of this, I think, called terrorist attack, which again doesn't bode well by the fact that all the baggage that this game is bringing to the Japanese culture and society there. I don't. Again, I'm assuming they didn't do this on purpose. It's one of those things when you fumble this much and screw up this much, you're bound to again continue to fumble if you even if you don't want to. Again, it's, I don't think this is again. They did. I'm not sure if this game will sell very well on Japan. Again, from the butchering of black gay samurai beating up and destroying everything. There has been a couple of videos launching trying to like showcase the improvements of the movement of the characters and the environment destructibility. And we got Yasuke just ramping through the markets, destroying everything. Again, uh, I will assume this is not on purpose because it is too much on the nose if it is on purpose. But yeah, even when they try to make players and gamers and customers excited for the improvements of the game itself. Again, they just screwing around, even if it is not on purpose. Also, they got some leaks here on the Steam page store. It's already been deleted here, which is the announcement of a DLC, which supposedly will come later in this year after the game is launched. We'll see if the game lasts that long until the first DLC comes out in terms of sales. But yeah, supposedly it's like a small DLC with I don't know, a puzzle and a treasure hunt or something like that. They've got a new weapon type and new skills, 10 hours of gameplay. Again, something that could be already been on the base game, but then again, they just remove and put on the DLC, usual Ubisoft. And with that said, also we got some comments from Yves Guillemot regarding again trying to excite the shareholders. And again, this corporate talk is fascinating. But yeah, they are basically trying to go about and do the same tactic that they did with Star Wars Outlaws, which again, it's not going to end up well if this with the trend here. But yeah, he basically said in or at least in the press release, it is said that additionally, as part of the renewed focus on gameplay quality and engaging day one experiences, it had been decided to provide an additional month to Assassin's Creed Shadow. This additional time will allow the team to better incorporate the player feedback, which I don't know which player feedback they are gathering over the past 3 months, and help to create the best conditions for launch by continuing to engage closely with incredible positive Assassin's Creed community. The game is now scheduled March 20th. Again, this is the press release, and the comments from Yves Guillemot himself was we are all behind our teams efforts to create the most ambitious Assassin's Creed opus of the franchise, and make the decision to provide an extra month of development in order to better incorporate the player feedback gathered over the past 3 months that will enable us to fully deliver on the potential of the game and finish the year on the strong note. It's not going to happen. And just a side note, the reference here on the studios. Where did I see this? There is a caption here. Here. Interesting enough, at least listed here, there has been 13 Ubisoft studios involved in this game, which again, it shows that there is the fact that these companies distribute the development of the games throughout the entire world. We got from European studios to American studios to Eastern studios. Again, it shows the lack of unified vision to a certain extent by basically spreading out the workload of development to throughout in this game alone 13 studios, at least 13 studios, which is interesting to see. But yeah, Yves Guillemot continued there was a conference call where he said on Assassin's Creed, you took the benefit of these additional months to gather more player feedback while engaging even more with our community. Again, I don't know what community. We've seen an increased positive reaction. I don't know from where, from the overall community. So we want to pursue that momentum. And to incorporate the latest feedback will allow us to deliver and our commitment to provide which with a great experience by the time we launch. Again, this is kind of the same kind of tone that we got from before the launch of Star Wars Outlaw. Everybody knew that this game was that game was going to be a shit show, and everybody was basically proved right except for Ubisoft. This is highlighted regarding that, and just as a quick rundown, again, at this time, at least from the article, the game itself has around 10,000 followers and sits on the in terms of wish list is 110th place, and is going to release in 1 month. Again, not a lot of excitement for this game. As a comparison, we got, for example, Monster Hunter Wilds. It was going to launch end of February. uh, it's already have 300,000 followers, and it's on the number one of wish lists and number nine in top sellers, and still it's going only to be launched by the end of next month. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is going to release early next month. It still has 170,000 followers, 16 on the wish list and 29 on top sellers, so pretty good. I'm very interested in this game. There's been some previews, and people really do like. It seems to be an improvement from the first game. Again, very kind of niche how the gameplay systems work. Again, very realistic in the approach. So it's usually not that much. It's not catering to me. So usually, I don't play this kind of games, even though I'm very interested in them working out pretty well in terms of sales. Then we got also Sid Meier's Civilization 7, releases February 11th. It got even more followers, so 150K, fourth on wishlist, 12 on top sellers. Then we got a kind of indie game per se. It's going to release in March, which is the first Berserker Kazan. It has 20K followers, 79 on wishlist, and 1,149 on top sellers. Again, this even more niche game to a certain extent. It's an indie game. Seems pretty good from what I've been seeing from the gameplays and all that jazz. And the coverage seems to be very positive. The first Berserker, so it's one of those that I have on my wish list also. Then we got Bleach Rebirth of Souls, game from the anime. It still has 20K followers. It's on the 107th position in wishlist and 550 on top sellers. Again, as you can see, in terms of comparisons, we got a lot of even indie games like First Kazan is still gathering more interest. And again, especially with more higher profile games like Monster Hunter Wilds, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Civilization 7. Again, they are 10 times, no, more than 10 times fold in terms of interest garden regarding the comparatively with Assassin's Creed. Again, as a final note on this, I think the game will sell. It's not going to be a Concord failure per se, but in terms of raw numbers, but it's going to be a Concord kind of a failure, taking into account of the how the franchise itself, in terms of sales and interest, has been garnering since the first Assassin's Creed game. Again, I think they're going to fumble in again, even if it sells 10 million copies in the first 2 months or even in the first month, it's not going to save Ubisoft. And I think even selling, for example, 10 million copies in the first month, I don't think it's going to cover the expense for the development of the game. At least that's my perception, given that this game has been on development for a while. It's been delayed. Each delay is being costing around $20 million in terms of the development cost. I don't think even if this sells that well, this is going to save Ubisoft in the overall picture. It's not only about the franchise or the game itself. It's about the bigger problem that Ubisoft has been having, at least for the last couple of years. I don't see this going that well, but we'll have to wait and see if people are proven right or wrong. Let's go for some gaming deals. We have Dome Keeper. Um, I didn't play a demo here, but I bought the game. It's 50% off on the base game, and I really do recommend. I've been playing here and there, around 4 hours or so. I think this I played around 4 runs on this. Very interesting. how they go about it. What I played, I really did enjoy it, and at this price point, really do recommend this game if you like this kind of games here. We got also Pacific Drive on the deluxe edition is 40% off. We got the Plague Tale Innocence. I've been trying to go around and testing this game for recording. Again, as it plays, to play the game, I can reach 4K ultra settings around about 120 to 130 frames from the testing that I did. But for recording, having a little issues with the software that I usually use for recording, and I'm trying to reach a good solution so I can start recording this game very soon. But yeah, it seems pretty interesting, pretty good. It's 80% off the first one, and the second one, it's on sale if you buy as a bundle with the first. So yeah, that's that, and it's 65% off the bundle itself. On GOG, we got Alien Isolation, the collection. I really do recommend this. I already did a gameplay of this game uh, in a long time ago. It's still on the 1080p gameplay series there. I really do recommend this game, especially when it's on sale. It's still pretty good. It looks good even after all these years. I will eventually probably will replay this game in 4K and make a series out of it. I'm thinking of replaying all the 1080p games, or at least the majority of 1080p games that I launch in terms of series, and replaying them in 4K. Then we got also Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut, 85% off, and the sequel Mankind Divided. This is the digital deluxe edition with all the playable content at 85% all off also. Then we got Firewatch. I recommend this game. I did manage in the meantime also already recorded the Firewatch gameplay series. Relatively short game, but pretty interesting on the narrative aspect and how the interaction between you and the NPC. Sorry, yeah, I do recommend at this price point, without a doubt. And when I will launch this gameplay series, I will mention that when it's launched. Sorry, but yeah, I do recommend at this price point. Stamp of approval. And then last we got Just Cause 2. Again, this is a very older game, but for the price point, I think it might be worth the price of the admission. It's now 14 years old game, but still very interesting gameplay mechanics that they experimented here with Just Cause 2. Again, I think there is Just Cause 3 and 4. But then again, for $2 game with all the DLC associated with it, I think it might be a good deal. And again, it has a lot of stuff to do around this game. But yeah, I think it might be a good experience, so I leave it here. And yeah, with all that said, I'm going to wrap up here, usually with my plug on the Patreon for just for access support. The access support at this moment in time for me to try and figure out a better storage solution so I can have backups of the stuff that I do for my clients, and of course some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a full day, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunami Master out.